Welcome in, everybody, to the Shecago podcast, where I'm Alexis Jade, and we talk the ever so disappointing Chicago Bears. I don't even know what to say anymore. Let's just get into it. The Chicago Bears have an absolute collapse, embarrassment, failure. I don't even know all the other words you could think to describe it. That's what they had just now against the New England Patriots. It was so bad, I'm like struggling to even think of words currently. Holy hell, what an awful game. Wow. There's really no words. I have stuff prepared, don't worry. I have some clips. I'm sure I'm going to go on some unplanned rants here, but oh, what a game. And not in a good way. What an absolutely awful, atrocious game. That was embarrassing as a Bears fan. I know we've had some bad losses, but you could argue this was probably worse than the Justin Fields Cleveland Brown game. Only because of a lot of reasons, honestly. This game was awful, and I hate starting like an episode like this because it's no fun to start listening to a podcast where it's just depressing, but what a disappointment. Like, Bears fans spend their time, their money, their mental sanity on this team to just have this kind of showing, this kind of treatment by the upper management, by the owners, to show that they don't care about having a good team, because if they cared, we wouldn't have the coaches that we have, we wouldn't have the problems that we have. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. Like, I don't think there's anything positive you could say to a Bears fan right now and be like, well, I'm not worried about Caleb, though. He'll be fine. We don't know that. We don't know if he'll be fine. We don't know if he's the guy. And there's a very real possibility by the end of this season, we won't even be able to say, like, yes, Caleb has shown us enough to show that, like, we know he's the quarterback going forward. He has to be the quarterback going forward because we don't have another option. But, like, we probably will end this season having no security in that. And that's not necessarily Caleb's fault. But, like, what a turn of events from the beginning of the season. And I see we already have the first super chat in here from Chris. What happened? I wish I could tell you. We're going to go into some stuff here in a minute, but oh, what a disappointment. And you know what? Thank you, Chris, for the super chat. And I just want to say, I tweeted this, and if you aren't here for our live watches, then strap in, because after this I'm going live for the Lions game on Sunday Night Football. But every super chat, the goal, the Bears are like a $6.4 billion franchise, and with every super chat we are this much closer to buying the Bears from the McCaskies. And if you ever need a motivation, let today's game be the motivation for super chats, because with every dollar, we're closer to that $6.4 billion from buying the Bears from the McCaskies and turning this team into a Super Bowl contending team, which apparently, after today's game, we are very, very, very far from. So thank you, Chris, for the super chat and making us one step closer. Hello. Let's go Texans all day. You know what? Congrats to your Texans. I don't actually, did they win? I presume so, if you're saying let's go Texans all day. But wait, or are they the ones playing tonight? Hold on, I might be an idiot. Yeah, they're the ones playing tonight. Yeah, honestly, go Texans. Good luck, Texans, because Lord knows we don't need any more people in the NFC North winning football these days. Oh man. Junior, it hurts me to say this, but it's time we tank the rest of the season. We ain't going anywhere fast. Unfortunately, we might even do an unintentional tank. The Bears have 6 divisional playoff games, 6 divisional games back-to-back now, coming up against the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings, starting with the Packers this upcoming week. And we couldn't beat the Patriots. who went into this game 2-6 with a rookie quarterback drafted behind Caleb Williams, with also a bad offensive line, with no skill players on that team whatsoever, at least nothing even close to what the Bears have, a first-time head coach, a brand new system, and we lost to them at home. Like, we might even not have to try to tank. This might just be an unintentional tank season because we're that bad, which what a turn of events from how we thought the season was going to go, isn't it? Thank you, Rome. Thank you. It's been a day already. If you've been exposed to Bears games, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Yes, honestly. I'm buckling up for tonight for this Lions game. Only 5 more months till the draft. How's that for positive? Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. It's not like we're getting any exciting key players. We're going to be getting offensive linemen, which we need, hopefully. But at this point, do you even trust Ryan Poles? Ryan Poles has done a lot of good things, but it's also reasonable to question him on a lot of decisions he's made, including his ability to scout offensive talent. It's not that we don't have an O-line because of his lack of trying. We don't have an O-line because he hasn't picked good people. I mean, we have Darnell Wright. Braxton Jones is our starting left tackle, but can he be replaced? Yeah. We still don't have a center. We haven't had a center the entire time Ryan Poles has been here. Tevin Jenkins is injury prone, and we haven't drafted anyone that could fill in for him. We signed Nate Davis, and we've all seen how that's gone. So I don't know. For a dude who's a former offensive lineman, he sure doesn't know how to pick offensive line talent. Call 877 cash now. I need some cash. You really see any game on the schedule that the Bears could win? I don't. No, not really. Not at this rate. Not at this rate. I mean, besides our divisional games, we played the 49ers and the Seahawks. So, no. No, I don't. And then what? After the tank, new QB? That's what I'm saying. It's like, what do we do from there? Like, it's just the same cycle over and over. And I think I'll get into this in a little bit after we start breaking down some of this game. But, I think that's maybe why Caleb Williams definitely deserves some blame, right? There's a lot of stuff going on outside of him that is not in his control, but he deserves some of the blame here for how this is going, or at least how he's performing. But I think part of the reason that I'm not so easy to dismiss and be like, he'll be fine, I'm least worried about Caleb, and it's mainly the O-line, is because we've heard this before. And maybe that's not fair to Caleb. It's probably not. But I just think I'm so traumatized as a Bears fan that I can't sit here and say, yeah, Caleb will be fine. It's the O-line. It's the coaches, it's the O-line. With a better O-line, with new coaches, Caleb will be fine. We've heard this story so many times before. We don't know that. And honestly, this dude was drafted #1 overall. He was quoted to be a generational prospect. There are high expectations with him. And it's just I'm not sitting here saying this is all his fault. I'm just saying, when I hear people dismiss it and brush it off, I'm I don't know how you're so confident, because personally, I've seen this story so many times my entire life. I don't have confidence that this is all just going to work out one day. I'm really nervous. I thought Caleb Williams and this was going to be different, and it's playing out exactly the same. I don't know. So anyone, I don't know. Like you said, Rome, and then what? New QB? Hope not. But have we heard this story before? We sure have. I'm speechless. I will never see a good team in my life. Yeah, that's how it feels right now, honestly. All they need is a real O-line and a real coaching staff. That's it, and they're all set. See, that's what I'm saying, though. How many times have you heard that? I just don't know how people still believe that. And maybe that's true, and I hope I'm wrong. But we've heard that storyline so many times with every quarterback we've ever had. Once again, this isn't me sitting here saying it's all Caleb. I'm just saying, I don't know. How do you have that confidence when that hasn't happened? All the times that we've said this, it just hasn't happened. You? I don't know what you is, but maybe that was an accident. They need a line that can let a play develop so the QB yeah, I don't disagree, the O-line is bad, and we also have a lot of backups in right now, but, like, I don't know. We're gonna get into some of this, so I need to save some of my thoughts for our post-game portion here. I really thought the Bears would be good this season. I'm not even a fan. I agree. It's like everything just collapsed. And if you look at the roster on paper, we have the talent to be good, but it's clearly, and it's not just coaching. Like a lot of it is, but anyone who says that this team is magically going to be better after we fire coaches is not true. Because look at the tape, guys. The film is not good. The execution is not good. It's not just the play calling and the coaches. So I don't know what's going on there. When things go this bad, everyone is to blame. Exactly. It's not a one solution fits all. Let me get into some of this before we get into more comments here. So let's get into some of this breakdown here. God, where to even start? I'm looking at all my sheets I made, and it's just, this is all so bad. This is all so bad. Okay, let's get into our key. Oops, let me unhover this comment here quickly. Let's get into our key takeaways, I guess, first from this game. Key takeaways from today. Oops. Number one, Caleb had a bad game. Defense struggled, poor offense, and coaching. Yeah. Caleb struggled. Caleb had a bad game. In the past, you know, that first slide up there would say Caleb, you know, didn't improve. But this time I think it's fair to say he had a bad game. Like, and that's not me discrediting everything else around him that was bad. But like, just speaking of Caleb, he didn't perform well. And he hasn't for the past few weeks, which is concerning because leading up to the bye, things seem to be trending in the right direction, and now it just seems like it's going the complete opposite way, and he's regressing. He's holding on to the football. He is missing open guys. And yes, like there are going to be games where a receiver drops a pass. It happens. It's football. There are going to be games where a quarterback makes a bad throw or overthrows someone or misses someone that's open. It happens. It's football. But it's not a once in a blue moon thing for Caleb or a one game thing. This is a consistent issue now, mainly with his accuracy and holding on to the football. His accuracy, and even at the beginning of the season, even though the deep ball accuracy has been horrendous, his short game has been pretty decent to his intermediate. Now it seems even his short game passing is struggling. There were multiple throws today and last week where Caleb just isn't accurate. Like I don't know how to nicely phrase it. You know, the throw to DJ Moore, the throw to Cole Kmet, the throw to Keenan Allen. Like there's just I don't know. And I'm sure a lot of the external factors are the things causing some of these inaccuracies, but like at the same time, I don't know. It's fair to say that Caleb has had a bad game today, and he has regressed from the bye week. And as one of my keys to victory was Caleb has to have a, you know, not even a great game. He just had to have an improvement from last week, and that didn't happen. Our other key here, defensive struggled and poor offense. The defense, we let New England score. Like, how much worse can it get than that? And the defense has been the strong point of this team this entire season. And one of my keys to victory in today's pregame show was we have to stop the run, which was going to be more difficult now that Billings is hurt and out for the season. But if we can't stop the run, it's going to make it easier for New England to move the football. They don't have crazy breakaway runs, but if they can pick up like 4 or 5 yards a run, they're cooking. And that's what they did. And it allowed Drake May to be able to have some passing game opportunities. And he also threw one interception. As I also said, he probably will because he tends to try to make something happen because he is their entire offense. So I don't know. Our defense, even though our defense is good, or at least our secondary, at least I thought they were good. They struggled against a New England Patriots team that should not have given them a hard time. Um, and for that case, I think it's fair to say the defense struggled and the offense struggled. Um, the offense, once again, is now for every single game this season, they have not been able to score any points in the first quarter. That is unacceptable. Like, that is actually terrible. Like, no points the entire season in the first quarter. How? And for the offense to not be able to get more than a field goal against the New England Patriots, and for people saying, like, is this worse than the Cleveland Brown game with Justin Fields? It is, because at least when the Cleveland Brown game happened with Justin Fields, one, it was his first game as a starter, and two, it was against the Browns defense, who at that time was very, very good. They were like top 3, 5 in the league defense, and they had Clowney and Myles Garrett as the edge rushers. Like, this was a powerhouse defensive line that the Bears went against in Justin Fields' first game as a rookie. First game starting, I should say, as a rookie. And even though that was terrible, this game is week 10. Like, this isn't like the beginning of the season. And on top of that, like, this is a Patriots defense who can't do anything. They don't have any named talent on their defensive line that we should have been worried about. And I know we had a backup offensive line in there, but to be fair, for part of the game, at least the first half, the offensive line wasn't doing terrible. They were holding up, and obviously things just completely fell apart in the second half, especially towards the fourth quarter. But, like, this is not a defense, even with a shaky offensive line, that this offense should have struggled against. I would understand not being able to put up as many points because of our offensive line injuries, but even still, we should have been able to score against this New England defense. And the fact we could only get a field goal, and the defense got a takeaway. The TJ Edwards got an interception, and we still couldn't capitalize on that. We started the game with a kickoff return at the 50-yard line, and we couldn't capitalize on that. Like, man, guys, I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. And finally, coaching. We all know coaching is a problem. We're probably going to talk about this more in a little bit too, so I won't harp on it right now. But obviously, the coaching is bad. Eberflus is bad. Shane Waldron is bad. I don't know what the solution is, because you have to think someone on this offensive staff has an answer. Like, someone has to think of a way to change things to steer the ship right. But Shane Waldron has been a failed experiment. Shane Waldron should not be the offensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. And like I said, firing him doesn't solve everything. Firing Eberflus doesn't solve everything. There are still a lot of issues with the personnel. For the talent we have, they are not performing well. There are missed blocks, there are dropped passes, there are missed throws not being made. There are sacks, there are penalties. Like, the players are not executing well. But Matt Eberflus, Shane Waldron, bye. And I don't think the Bears will fire Matt Eberflus midseason, but I do think there's a chance that Shane Waldron gets the boot here coming up. And we have another super chat here that I want to shout out. Attaining Oneness, $5 super chat, calling it Eber gone first thing in the AM. I would love if that was the case. Thank you so much for the super chat. Once again, guys, now we're another super chat closer to buying the Bears from the McCaskies, because I don't think I can handle another game or another season like this with expectations that just get completely destroyed. So thanks to your super chat, we're just another step closer to that goal and making this a fan-owned team. But calling it Eber gone first thing, I would love if that's the case. I just don't think that's going to happen. Then again, the one caveat I will give you here is that this is Kevin Warren now running the ship. It's still the McCaskies are still at the helm, but like Kevin Warren is new. We don't know how he would handle this type of situation. So there's a chance that Eberflus is gone, and if Ryan Poles, because I don't think Ryan Poles wants to pull the trigger on this, so, but if he doesn't, there is a chance that Kevin Warren says, it's going to happen, you're going to fire him. Like, we're not going to continue with this the rest of the season. Do I think that happens? Probably not. Do I think Shane Waldron probably goes? Yes. Eberflus didn't necessarily decline that when he was asked if they were going to look at different offensive play calling, and he said they're going to look at everything. And I definitely think Matt Eberflus would be willing to give up Shane Waldron's job before giving up his job. So it's definitely a possibility that Shane Waldron is out of here. I don't know about Eberflus, but thank you for the super chat, and I hope you are correct. However, I don't know if that happens. But the coaching has just been awful and is obviously the biggest factor, because even some of Caleb's struggles, when you really get to the root of it, you can still blame on the coaching because clearly he's not being coached up. However, you still want to see Caleb be able to do some of that himself, and we're not right now. Oh, God, guys. All right. So let me catch up on some chats here before we get into some of our QB outlook here after this game, because, man, this is rough. Chris, good news. The Cowboys still suck, like bad, but it's kind of funny. That is true. That is true. Then again, we might need them to beat the Packers later or something, so. It's Groundhog Day. I said on Twitter that it's being a Bears fan is like having nonstop deja vu and you just can't get out of it. It literally feels like that. Like seeing this happen play all over again, it's not just frustrating because this is a one-time thing and it's like, damn, this is disappointing. We've seen this happen before and we're seeing it happen again. And it's like, where do we go from here? What happens? I don't know. But we know it's not good. Only hope is Kevin Warren is different than Ted was and refuses to find any of this acceptable and does something about it. Exactly. Other Chris. That's what I was saying. I agree. I think the one like red herring here, I guess is a way to put it, is we don't know what Kevin Warren's doing. And I do think that during this offseason, when Rappaport, I think it was him, reported that, there was talks ongoing about retaining Eberflus and that there were people in the building that weren't sure on retaining Eberflus. I think Kevin Warren was one of those people. Oops, I'm shaking the camera. But I think Kevin Warren was one of the people who was not sold on the idea of keeping the Flus. And I do think that there is a chance, albeit small, that Kevin Warren might be the one who pulls the cord on Eberflus midseason if the McCaskies let that happen. And we have yet to see that ever happen on a Bears team. But if Kevin Warren wants to be different and wants to actually be the change to this organization, besides trying to put together a stadium that clearly is not happening, pull the plug. Do something. Be the president. Matthew, I do not buy that Caleb is going to save the franchise. Been down this road too many times. That's what I'm saying, and it's not so much that I don't fully believe in Caleb or I'm blaming all of this on him. I think it's just hard when we've seen this cycle play over and over to sit here and be like, but Caleb will be fine. Caleb is the guy. Like, if we're being realistic, we've seen some good things out of him. We've seen some of the like snippets of like, this dude can throw it. He can fit it in tight windows. You can see the upside, but like he hasn't even had that many flashes that you saw translate from college to the pros. And I just don't know how you can realistically right now be like, Caleb will be fine. He's the future quarterback. The Bears have a quarterback. I think that's very premature, and I want Caleb to be the guy. Like, that's not because I don't want him to. I want him to be the guy. But, like, I don't think you can realistically look at what's happened so far and be like, yep, he's the guy. Like, we're fine. He's going to be fine. He's the guy. I think we might end the season with a lot of question marks and hoping that year 2 goes a lot better than Justin Fields' year 2 for Caleb Williams. This is why I think the majority of us wanted a new coach next season, so he could have picked his QB to match his OC play calling. Yeah, I think it's totally fair. I think that's why a lot of people wanted Flus fired last season, so you can pair the rookie quarterback with a new head coach. Obviously, the Bears elected not to do that, so this is where we're at. But I was totally on board with why people wanted last season to get rid of Flus, because now was the time. Maybe it wouldn't have been completely fair to the Flus, but even though, like Justin Fields, for example, had his flaws, was it totally fair to Justin, everything that happened to him? No. He was drafted into a bad situation, had a new head coach, a new OC his second year and his third year, or I guess just his second to third year. Had no offensive line, just like we still don't have an offensive line. Bad play calling. He didn't have any weapons his first 2 years. Like, was all of that fair to Justin? Did a lot of that hinder his development? 100%. But at the end of the day, the Bears had the number 1 pick, and Caleb Williams was available, and the trade was made. And I think you can make the argument they should have done the same thing with the head coach. Would it have been fair to Matt Eberflus? Probably not. Probably would have been a little bit early. He brought a lot to the defense. However, that was your opportunity to pair up a rookie quarterback with the head coach and not make the same mistake again that we are now going to be making again. I see another super chat here from XRogue12, $5 super chat. Look on the bright side, at least you're not the Broncos right now. I will say, though, appreciate the super chat. The Broncos rookie quarterback, I'm not saying he's going to be better than Caleb. I still, even though through all of this, think Caleb will be the better quarterback. You can see his development. You can see Bo Nix slowly developing on a week-to-week basis. And do I think he's like a better quarterback than Caleb? No. I mean, the way he's been playing stat-wise and stuff, you could argue yes, but long-term, I think Caleb will be the better quarterback. But at the very least, they're seeing their rookie quarterback make steps every week. But to your point, I wouldn't necessarily want to be a Broncos fan. But thank you for the super chat, and thank you for making us a step closer to owning the Chicago Bears and getting it out of the hands of the McCaskies. Let me see here. Oh, the Washington game took the air right out of this team. 100%. It was, I don't know if we'd still be in the same position if that didn't happen, but then again, the rest of that game was bad. Like, the Hail Mary part was awful because of how it ended, but let's not forget the rest of that game, they also played terrible. So there's still a real chance that we still would be in this position even without the Hail Mary. But yeah, it definitely like took the wind, the wind out of the sails of this team. What can you say about 3 points? Exactly, like nothing. There's nothing you can say about it. It's 3 points from a field goal against a 2-6 team that are now 3-6, but like, you can't take anything away from that. I want to see here before we get to the other chats here as well. Let me do this and pull up. It's not going to be fun to look at, guys, but we got to do it. Okay, here we go. Our Caleb Williams game stats from today. Caleb Williams. Actually, let me pull this one up first for you guys. Caleb Williams, stat by stat comparison. So last week compared to this week, just for the case in point of comparing him to himself, and the week-to-week progression, week 9, a 53.7% completion percentage, 217 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 68.9 rating. This week, 53.3 completion percentage, 120 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 63.2 rating. As you can see, he is worse this week in almost every single stat right there. And of course, stats don't tell the whole story. And I don't even have sacks on here, which would be way worse this week. And I guess the one positive you can take from this is that there's no interceptions, but on the opposite end of that, there's no touchdowns either. And even in the Commanders game, they had like 1 fourth quarter touchdown. It's not like he's not, and he has what? How many passing yards? 217 and 120. Like, and it's not like he's picking up the majority of those yards that aren't there with his feet. He's picking up some, but like 50 yards maybe. I don't know. It's not good. And not turning the ball over is good to an extent, but I would rather live with Caleb Williams turning the ball over a few times and having some rookie interceptions or fumbles, trying to make something happen, taking some chances, making some passes downfield. But right now he's not even doing that. Like he's not taking what the defense is giving him. He's not passing downfield. He's not connecting on anything past 20 yards. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to get excited about no interceptions when the touchdowns, the passing yards, the completion percentage, everything else isn't good. So he's not even passing enough to really have an interception is kind of my point. So I don't know. Caleb Williams' stats are just not good. And I'm not sitting here trying to harp on the dude. It's just like it is what it is. And that's what sucks is there's no way to like sugarcoat this. And the argument here that we'll get into, actually, let me show this first. And of course, I made a mistake and made this a bit moving instead of being able to make it a picture. But Caleb Williams compared to Drake May, their stats obviously not very good. I mean, Caleb Williams was outplayed by Drake May. And I'm not sitting here saying that Drake May was phenomenal this game or did anything extraordinary. But if you're sitting here trying to tell me that, you know, oh God, how do I want to say this without seeming like I'm totally harping on Caleb? But I do want to kind of just, let me see if I can add it as a still versus moving for a second here. Bear with me as it loads. Thank you, StreamYard. Caleb Williams, 53, like we just went through his stats, so I won't rehash them. But Drake May, 60% completion percentage, 184 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 79.4 rating. It's not like Drake May had an insanely better game statistically than Caleb Williams. But you can't necessarily come away from this game saying that Caleb was the better quarterback because he wasn't. Drake May was the better quarterback, and Drake May, throughout the game, he was getting rid of the ball quick. He was and like for anyone saying, you know, Drake May wasn't pressured. Drake May was pressured. He was escaping sacks. He was scrambling. He was using his feet. He still had some sacks, but he was also getting rid of the ball. He was throwing it away. He was doing some things that Caleb Williams wasn't. And he also connected on a deep pass. He also had another one that could have connected, but the Bears had good defense on it. I just think if we're going to sit here and say that the offensive line was trash and the coaching is trash and, you know, Caleb Williams deserves some blame, but like, you know, what can he do? There's nothing he can do with a bad O-line and bad coaching. It's like today's game was the perfect one to contradict that theory. Because although I agree with all of those points, Drake May is playing on a substantially worse team overall. You could maybe argue his offensive line is better, but people don't realize that offensive line is bad. Like they would be 3rd to 4th stringers on someone else's roster as well. That is not a good offensive line he had. The only benefit of it he had is continuity. they had been playing together for a few weeks now versus having multiple injuries and swapping people out, which does help. But he has no big skill makers, no big playmakers on his team. This is a first-year head coach, a brand new system for him too. He's also a rookie quarterback. Like, I'm not saying it's completely comparable, but it's not like we were going against a rookie quarterback that is in a much better situation than Caleb Williams. And one could even argue on paper, Caleb's in the better situation than most of these rookie quarterbacks. So I know it's not black and white like that. It's very gray, and a lot of this is out of Caleb Williams' control. A lot of this is not his fault. But at the same time, it's hard to see all these other rookie quarterbacks succeeding. And even Drake May, who's not like exceptionally having a better season, he's also played less games. Like, it's hard seeing this all play out and sitting here being like, you can only blame, the offensive line and the coaching staff. Like, some of this is, to be honest, Caleb not maybe being ready for the pros. Like, maybe he just needed some time to kind of develop, and maybe he was a little more raw than we thought. I don't know. But I don't know. I have a hard time understanding what's going on there, and I'm not going to pretend I'm some film guru that knows everything, but safe to say it's not going well for Caleb Williams, and it's not all his fault, but it's also like the other comment in the chat earlier, when it's this bad, everything is bad. And firing the coaches alone isn't going to just suddenly save this team, unfortunately. And it's not going to fix some of these mistakes from the players going on. But let me get back into some of your comments here. Let me see. From Rome, maybe the pressure is getting to him, in-house pressure, potentially, maybe external too. I mean, against the Commanders, I know Caleb said he's never nervous, but we all know that there's no way that's true. He was jittery. Like, that Commanders game, he came out and he was jittery. Then again, we kind of blame some of the inaccuracies on the game jitters, but since then, he still has been inaccurate. So maybe it wasn't jitters. Maybe he was just struggling with accuracy, but I'm sure some of the pressure is getting to him. I think he's a strong dude, like, mentally, and I think he can handle a lot of it. He's been under the spotlight for a long time, but I'm sure it's not easy, and I'm sure some of it is probably getting to him. And this is definitely not the way he thought his first year in the pros was going to go, that's for sure. It's also fair to say the chemistry would be better with Justin Fields and DJ Moore compared to how it is with Caleb Williams. Yeah, I mean, and I don't think that's a dig at Caleb. Like, I mean, it's honest. Justin and DJ Moore had really good chemistry. And I'm not sitting here trying to get into a Fields versus Caleb debate or anything, but there's definitely a chemistry issue between DJ Moore and Caleb Williams, for sure. And honestly, Caleb Williams and most of his receivers, like, him and Rome maybe have the strongest connection, but Rome Odunze is not really being used enough in Shane Waldron's offense. He's not getting enough targets, but DJ Moore and Caleb Williams are not on the same page with a lot of concepts, and the frustration is there from DJ for sure. Caleb has started to connect a little bit more with Allen, but, I don't know if that chemistry is fully there, but they've slowly started to connect. But yeah, for sure, DJ and Caleb not on the same page. And we haven't really seen this from DJ Moore in a bit. And DJ's known to, like, connect well with no matter the quarterback he's playing with. He's done it his whole career when he was with Carolina. Like, I wish I knew what was going on there. Like, I wish I knew why they were struggling so hard to find chemistry. But something's going on there. Something's going on where they're struggling. Rookies are going to rookie sometimes. I agree, but this is beyond just rookie struggles. Like, we have to be honest, like, it's gotten to the point now we can't just be like rookies ups and downs. Like, this is beyond that now. And once again, not all on him, but when you look at the other rookies around the league, Drake May, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, they're not having the same necessary bumps. And Caleb Williams on paper has a much better roster around him, but I know it's not that black and white. I'm just saying it, and the dude was drafted number 1 overall. Oh, lost my camera there for a second. That was cool. We just went black. Camera didn't like my opinion on that one. Sorry about the confusion there. I'm flipping you guys in a circle. But yeah, I think we can't just sit here and chalk it up to rookie struggles at this point. Like, it's beyond that. Caleb needs to play better. It's rookies are going to have rookie struggles, but this is to the point where this needs to start having some improvements. Yeah, I don't know. Our defense is not terrible, but like, why try if the offense is just terrible? Caleb's been terrible. I will agree, like, it's hard to blame the defense, like, coughing up some points the past few weeks, because like you said, if the offense isn't performing well, the defense is getting gassed, man. The offense is going 3 and out every series, or, you know, making it a few drives downfield and then going out. Yeah, I don't blame the defense for being gassed. Is that an excuse for some of their issues, especially with stopping the run? No, but it's totally fair to say that the defense might be suffering a bit from the offense suffering, for sure. I think that is fair to say. Nothing wrong with the defense. Fluke just lost the locker room, period. There is potential. Apparently, I saw something from Nick Mariano from CHGO saying that, like, there was no one in the locker room post-game, that basically Jalen Johnson, who is always available after games, even, like, you know, he's been here for some losses, was not available post-game in the locker room. He took off and got out of there. And he said maybe that's notable because Jalen Johnson is typically always available. And he said it was so empty that he ended up going to the Patriots locker room to interview some of those guys. So I think that's of note for sure. The Hail Mary has doomed our season. Hail Mary definitely kicked it off, that's for sure. But like I said, let's not forget, the entirety of that game was bad. It was just like one touchdown in the fourth quarter that had us caught up. But that entire Commanders game, we didn't perform well either. So even fourth Hail Mary aside, that was still not a good game. Ryan Poles doomed the season when he didn't invest in O-line. 100% valid blaming Poles and not invested in the O-line. It's not Caleb. He needed to sit 1 year and then come in as the starter. And of course, the coaching has to change. Unfortunately, that was never going to be the case. Caleb was never going to sit on the bench. They weren't going to draft the rookie quarterback number 1 overall and have him sit. And on top of that, we don't have a vet on this roster. Like, sure, he could sit behind Tyson Bagent, but Tyson Bagent is still new. He was a rookie last year. He has 1 season under his belt. So, yeah, unfortunately, that was just never going to happen. Though I think maybe we were all a little surprised by how not ready he was to be starting. And I'm not saying that's all on him. He's had some good moments, but I do think it's evident that he's got some stuff that he needs to work on, like his footwork and getting rid of the ball quicker and taking what the defense is giving him, that maybe if we had a vet on this roster, he would be getting a little help, whether he's sitting behind the vet or whether he's able to at least talk to the vet and get their insight or something. But we don't have that. Fire everyone? Agreed. I like Caleb and could be great, but liked Fields too, and could have had Harbaugh. Oh my God, I always struggle to say his name, and I'm a Michigan fan. It's like my brain short circuits. But anyways, now we have to get an offensive head coach and build offensive line. Poles is not innocent either. Agreed. No picks, huge. I like not having picks, and credit where credit's due that he didn't have any. But like I said, there's also no touchdowns, bad QBR, bad completion percentage. limited throwing yards, like, take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Everything must go Bears edition. we're having a clear out. We're liquidating the team. Please take what you can get. Chris, no touchdowns, but no interceptions equals no production. Exactly. It's like, credit him for not turning the ball over, but also he's barely throwing the ball. So how are we, it's kind of hard to be like, yay, no interceptions when there's no touchdowns, there's no completions, there's nothing happening either. I thought I lost a comment, but I don't think I did. Okay. I didn't watch the game, but best wishes to you and your fans. I saw the score and it wasn't pretty. It was not. But you know what? I saw some clips of Josh Allen and the Bills during the commercial for the Bears game, and it made me feel a little bit better because I like Josh Allen and the Bills. And also, for anyone who doesn't know, by the way, not that this has anything to do with the Bills, but I will be live. The Sunday Night Football game is starting soon. I'm going to take a break to recharge some of my equipment for a little bit. And then during the game, I'm going to hop back on and do the rest of the Sunday Night Football Texans versus Lions live watch with you guys. So if anyone from here is wanting to watch that, I will be live in a bit for that as well. 4-13, here we come. It's sure looking like it. His Week 10 stats look like first half stats for a QB on a run-heavy offense. That, honestly, like, there's no way to sugarcoat it. They do. This would never happen in Alexis's Shecago. Exactly, guys. That's why every super chat goes towards buying the Bears from the McCaskies. I'm going to turn this into a team, a fan team, where the fans who submit super chats are part of building this team. And I am going to strip it all down and turn this into a Super Bowl contender for years to come. And we will never have to live in embarrassment ever again. That's my pledge to you all. Would never happen on the Alexis Bears. I think the routes they have receivers running are trash. Agreed. The concepts are also terrible, and the person, like, where they have each receiver on what type of routes they're running doesn't correlate. Dumpster fire. I'm not watching Bears anymore until they make changes. The campaign is over. Yeah, I don't disagree. Need better coaching and coordinating? Yes. Yes, but the Patriots head coach didn't lose his team. True, but he's a first-year head coach. It's kind of hard to lose your team your first ever 10 games of a season. Like, I'm not saying that their coach is bad or good. We don't know because they're new. Everything's new, which also is a disadvantage, by the way. We did not have legitimate tackles starting today, and the worst case scenario happened. The Bears offense is a hot rod that needs an engine. Maybe. That's an optimistic view of it. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree, but it's hard to find that optimism right now. How can Caleb progress with this coaching staff? He can't. He can't. Shecago sports sucks. Now fire. I think you mean now fire the head coach. Yeah. If you want to talk about being underutilized, just look at Cole Kmet for sure. Cole Kmet is definitely underutilized. All other rookies have competent play callers. You could argue that, and that's part of it. But like I said, that doesn't dissolve Caleb of some of the blame of, like, at the end of the day, too, the number one overall pick that's deemed generational should be able to overcome some of this stuff. And I'm not saying that that's fair. Like, I'm not saying that he should have to overcome all of this, but some of his struggles, you would think a number one generational prospect should be able to kind of overcome that. And he's not so far. And I'm not saying that's an expectation per se, but, like, I don't know. Like I said, everyone's to blame. Caleb isn't innocent in this either. It is terrible, but the Bears can get any quarterback, but no offensive line and no adjustments. What can you do? Yeah. It's getting hard to defend him with the rookie excuse because he's looking bad on basic open screen passes. That's the thing. It's like, I'm not sitting here trying to bash him either. I want Caleb to be the guy. But my point isn't necessarily that this is all his fault or anything like that. It's just like this comment. It's getting hard to say, it's rookie struggles. It's just the offensive line. It's the coaching. Like, those are all factors for sure. But with each week that this continues, it gets harder and harder to not also point some of the direct blame at Caleb and say, some of this is on you, buddy, because it's also hard for a play caller to get in rhythm when the quarterback is missing open passes for a first down or a second down that like would have set up the next play, you know? And same goes for when Keenan Allen misses a block that would have set up the next play. So it's personnel too, guys. It's personnel not performing well. I can't believe Drake May outplayed Caleb. I'm not going to lie. I was high on Drake May out of the draft, and people gave me a lot of flack for it. But like when I watched their tape, I was high on Drake May because I knew he was a little raw. I knew his footwork needed work. But I liked his size. I liked how tall he was and how like built he was. I liked his creativity because even though it was different from Caleb, like we saw it today, he went to try to throw with his left hand to get out of a sack. I liked that he's kind of big bodied and picks up some yards on the run. And he has a really good deep ball. He has a really, really strong arm that can rocket it downfield. And it's pretty damn accurate. And he also is very good with anticipatory throws. And I personally was very high on him. So it sucks because, like, on one hand, I'm still very high on Drake May. I still really like him as a player, and I'm excited to see where his career goes. But as a Bears fan, I wanted Caleb to outplay him. I wanted Caleb to have a better game. And that didn't happen. and it sucks as a Bears fan. But as a Drake May fan, like, I'm glad he's doing well. Go Suns, Cards, and ASU, F Shecago. Don't blame me for that one. I really doubt this roster still believes in this coaching staff. Oh, I don't think they do either. Detroit versus everybody. Heck no. We can't do that. Bear down, baby. Which, by the way, I will take a break after this. Because this is technically the Bears postgame podcast. I know the Lions game is starting soon. I will take a break to charge everything for a little bit, and then I will be tuning into the game a little bit late live, but I will be live for the remainder of Sunday Night Football. I knew this would kind of run over because this loss was so bad. I knew there was going to be quite a few comments talking about this game, and I wanted to get everyone's thoughts. Berlissimo, hey Alexis, just subbed. Appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing, which I guess I should remind everyone. If you're new, please like the video and subscribe. If you like the stream, it boosts it so other people see it. If you enjoy the content, subscribe. Think about it, because we have Bears content. I have some more Bears and NFL videos for the main videos in the works, and then obviously I do these lives of Bears games as well as Sunday Night Football. As Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, primetime games, play-by-play live watch. So if you like that, tune into that. But thank you, Berlissimo. Welcome to the channel. Chicago sports is awful. Yep. No getting around that. Brokeback Burr be following me everywhere. Can only take what the defense gives you when you have a valuable option in the route scheme. Yeah, that's true. Like I said, there's flaws everywhere in this, but there's definitely times where he's just not taking what the defense is giving him, to be honest. But yeah, also when the route concepts suck, when the wide receivers aren't getting separation, when the players aren't executing properly on their blocks or assignments, yeah, that's on them too. Yes, fire the head coach. Berlissimo, QBR, completion percentage, yards, etc. isn't just on Caleb. He had one bad throw, which was short of DJ on the speed out. I would argue he definitely had more than one bad throw this game. There was quite a few that were not accurate. But of course, it's like I said, this isn't me trying to blame it all on Caleb. Like all those stats aren't just his fault. I just think, for me, I don't see how we can, we can't, it's a rookie up and down stuff can only last so long with these types of struggles. Like, some of these are just legitimate struggles he's having that he needs to work on, I guess, in the off season, because at this point, this season is hopeless. But you can hope that this off season he can really work on his footwork, his timing in the offense with probably a new playbook, and his accuracy, especially downfield. Tyson is a good quarterback. He done his homework. He always adapt to an offensive play call. He is a quick learner. Yeah, but he's also only had a few starts, and he's definitely not the talent Caleb Williams is, but I don't know. We haven't seen him attempt to play in this offense to know if he would be able to execute it either. But the only advantage he would really have is that he has a year of playing under his belt. But, who knows? Can't have a touchdown interception ratio if there are no touchdowns or interceptions. Yeah, exactly. Or touchdowns. Need a real OC and head coach. Agreed. Patrick, can you help the Bears in Madden 25? Yes. Yes, I can. Someone needs to buy the Bears. That's going to be me, Michael. That's what I'm saying. Every super chat goes to buying the Bears from the McCaskies. So just know when you send them in, it's to a good cause so that we could buy the Bears. Don Burr is everywhere. Don Burr is everywhere. Also, the season ticket holders need to protest every year. That's what I'm saying. The Bears, I'm sitting here wearing a Bears shirt, but they don't deserve any more of our money. We should not be spending any more of our money on merch, on tickets, on anything. Jerseys, anything. Nothing. Game over. They don't deserve our money. Protest. Don't show up to games. I hate saying that to the players, but this ownership needs to learn a lesson. Season is over. Sure feels like it. Who would be your crazy interim hire if Flus was fired during the season? I'd say give Peyton a call and see if he'd come coach for 2 months. I think they would do it from within. I think they'd for sure do it from within, but if I was going outside of the organization and trying to call someone up, maybe Mike Vrabel, or I don't know, because here's the thing, you call someone up from the outside, then it's kind of awkward if they don't get the job again, the next year. And I don't really want Vrabel or someone, I want better than that. But absolve, not dissolve. What did I say? Wait, did I say dissolve over something? Probably. I don't know. My brain's a jumbled mess at this point, so it's possible I said that. We want Bajan? That's crazy. I mean, I like your profile picture though. It's a very fun profile picture, but I mean, if you want to avoid Caleb getting hurt, maybe let him learn a little bit, maybe put Bajan in, but I don't know if that really benefits him at this point. I don't think it does. Unless you're turning Caleb into a liquid. He might be a liquid if he takes any more sacks. If Poles and Warren are not allowed to fire Eberflus, the fingers pointing should start and end with George McCaskey. Yeah, I agree, for sure, Sydney. Bajan is the guy, Caleb sucks. I don't know if I would go that far. But like I said, your profile picture is funny. George McCaskey needs to get the Honey Bears back. Bears haven't won a Super Bowl since they cheered them on. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. I did remember reading about that last year, and I did kind of start thinking, if we get the Honey Bears back, maybe the Bears will start winning again. And wouldn't it be funny if next season they reinstill the Honey Bears and the Bears go to the playoffs? I don't think you would ever be able to take the Honey Bears away again after that if that happened. I'm not falling for it this time. I'm not saying it, but thanks for chatting. No more clips for you. Which open screen pass was that to Bex? Was that Bex? Oh, are you responding to someone in the chat? Okay. My bad. I was like, who's Bex on the Bears? Caleb needs to sit. He has been given everything, and he needs to earn the position like he did in Oklahoma. I don't know if he needs to earn the position. I mean, he's the number 1 overall pick. It's his. But, I think at this point, if you're going to say he needs to sit, he should have sat before the season started. And we should have had a veteran on the team for him to play behind. But that didn't happen, and now you bench him, and it might just kill his confidence. I think the coach one more game against Green Bay next week, he'll be fired. Maybe. Oh, excuse me. Joe, Bears use zone blocking that does not wear down a defense, and we don't have that heavy load running back that can push a defense. To be fair, Roschon Johnson got 1 snap this game. 1. And it was the one that was blown up because the center missed his block. on like half of DeAndre Swift's runs, I was wondering why Roschon Johnson was not getting the snaps to be more of the power back. Maybe we should cut Khalil Herbert. I don't know. That's an awesome profile picture. At least no, it is a fun profile picture. Go Birds. What's up, GG? Caleb has no time. If he does, Rome, Allen, and Moore drop passes. I wouldn't go that far. The dropping passes things, I think, is being a little blown out of proportion. Like, yeah, it's not good when a receiver drops passes, but like I said in the beginning of the live, a QB is going to miss throws. Receivers are going to drop passes from time to time. All of that happens. It's when it's a consistent issue where it's a problem. Rome is a rookie receiver, a rookie. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Malik Neighbors has dropped a lot of passes this year, and he's still touted as one of the best rookie wide receivers this draft. Like, Rome Odunze is doing a lot of great things right now. And I wish he was utilized more because he's not getting nearly the targets he should, because honestly, he's performing like the number one overall wide receiver right now. DJ hasn't really had that many drops. There's been like one maybe, but Keenan Allen has had some maybe, but I still like I said, they happen. I like last week, everyone was talking about all the drops. There were 2 last week, 2 drops. Like, not good. You don't want any to happen, but it's not like we had 7 drops throughout the game. There were 2. And it sucks. But like, I don't think we need to blow drops out of proportion. If we keep seeing it happening, then I'll be concerned. But prior to the bye week, and even during the Commanders game, it wasn't that big of a factor. So we'll see. Yo, congrats Eagles from Curtis. Yeah, he was Jalen Hurts was getting me some fantasy points. Caleb also passes up easy passes looking for the big play. He for sure does that, yeah. Alexis, after Dark Crew is assembling, where's Life? I think Life was in here, I think. We'll see. But yes, After Dark Crew is assembling. Yes, we will. I have it on my to-do list to start planning some graphics for After Dark. So just you wait. Just you wait, Rome. And if you guys want to know what After Dark is, keep tuning in to the live after this for the Lions podcast or Lions live watch, which I'm going to have to wrap up this podcast soon so that I can do the live stream for the Lions game. So anyone tuning in for the Lions live stream watch, I will be taking a break in a few minutes here to charge everything so that I can continue and watch the rest of the Lions game with you. So come back to me. I will be back. The Bears have a good defensive coach always, but I think Poles did nothing to the offensive line. He did not. He did coach like the Detroit Lions, someone who breaks kneecaps. I would not be opposed. That was one thing you could like from Matt Nagy, was that he was a very he was a goof, but like he was a player's coach for sure. Hey Alexis, sorry about the Bears. I think they might do better if I root against them at this point. Potentially, it's worth a shot. But welcome in, Life. Missed out on all the games today so far, but just looking at the scoreboard, this looked like a horrible game. It was. You missed nothing. It was awful. 70 watches, hit the like. Yes, hit the like and spread the word for the Shecago podcast or just the Alexis J channel, because there's other NFL content on this as well, and more will be coming. Speak of a vampire, they appear. For Life, yes. Bagent will be the same problems. People seem to forget the O-line is non-existent. Yeah, I don't think Bagent suddenly solves all these issues. Let's see if this was any other team that the head coach would be fired, but the Bears will never do it. Agreed. Nothing wrong with giving Bagent a shot. You never know if he's improved or not otherwise. I would rather Caleb have time to like get playing experience, but we'll see. Let's see. The Bears always have a good backup quarterback in history, but Tyson has a lot of experience under his belt that he learned. Tyson only has 1 year, though. He doesn't have that much experience. He only has 1 year, and he only played a few games last year. You know, it's not like he has like a ton of experience. I'm done with the Sheets principle. Yeah. Same. What's the Space Bears? Fire Flus, agreed. Hello. Why, nice to meet you from Slick Sophistication. Why doesn't Ryan Poles keep avoiding the blame? He ruined Fields and now is on his way to ruin Caleb. Ryan Poles' ego sucks. Ryan Poles definitely deserves blame. Like I said at the beginning, primarily I blame him for the lack of offensive line and also the offensive coordinator hire. Like, of course, the head coach gets the blame for that because it's technically his hire. But Ryan Poles gloated this offseason about how involved he was in that hire and how proud he was of the interview questions they asked him, and was really proud of the hire in Shane Waldron. A lot of that falls on Ryan Poles. He also was the one who fired everyone but chose to keep Chris Morgan, the offensive line coach. That is on Poles. Bears need to hire an offensive coach. I don't disagree. But before we go here, let me just give out my game grades from today. So game grades, offense, you get an F-. Defense, you get a D- because the run stop defense was terrible, but TJ Edwards did get a pick. So I kind of went back and forth, but D- seems kind of fair for the defense. Special teams, D, because Torrey Taylor had that one like shanked punt, but otherwise was a good game from special teams. We also had the good return to open up. And coaching, F-, F- all around. I would give a double F-, double minus all around. Terrible game, terrible output, terrible execution by the players, terrible play calling, terrible coaching up. I just hated all of it. It was all terrible. And these are my, oops, kick the camera, but you guys can see that. These are my grades from today's game, because the Bears sucked donkey. You know what? Ben Johnson 2025, let's hope. If he wants to come to the Bears, we don't know. Go charge your equipment or the game will be over before you go live again. Yes, Rome. I need to wrap this up soon because I need to be able to go live for the Lions game. I agree, Ryan Poles hires Getsy and Waldron. You speak my language. Yep, that's what I'm saying. He's responsible for some of that too. Supper time. See y'all in a bit. All right. Have a good dinner, Curtis. That means the Lions score. Yes, maybe I'll give you guys an advantage by charging my equipment to go live. But I will wrap up now since I see some people wanting to tune in for the Lions game. So this will wrap up the Bears podcast. I'm going to take a break for a little bit and charge everything. And once it's charged up enough that we can make it through the rest of the Lions game, I will go live. I will set a time and the live thing on YouTube so you guys can already like join before it actually goes live so you know when it will go live. And of course, I will tweet when I'm going live. But if anyone was new coming in for the Bears podcast, please tune into the live where we're going to watch the Lions versus the Texans on Sunday Night Football. So, and I do see one more comment here. Bears aren't winning crap. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he does have more snaps in college, so that's also true. But yes, anyone who's tuning in for the Bears, if you want to, come tune in to my live in soon. I don't want it to be an hour. I'm hoping sooner than that. I can get everything charged and I will be live hopefully in about like 30 minutes here after everything charges. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already, like it if you haven't already. If you subscribe, turn on notifications so you know in 30 minutes-ish when I go live for the live watch for Sunday Night Football. But thank you guys for watching. And as always, I'm Alexis Bear. I'm Alexis Jade. And this is the Shecago podcast. Thank you.